Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following content is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. What you're about to hear is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony from the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as reported by Inner City Press.
If Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons: money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties.
Oh, wow.
It's all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
She said what? Y'all, Monique just flipped Hollywood upside down like it's a bad lace front in a windstorm. I mean, it was already messy, but this? This was a Category 5 tea spill with names, dates, receipts, and baby, not even Oprah is safe. Picture it. Day 6 of Diddy's trial. The air's thick with scandal. Every reporter foaming at the mouth for drama, and then, bam! Monique struts into the courtroom like she's about to headline the Oscars and the funeral for Hollywood's fake innocence all in one. No one, and I mean no one, had her name on the witness list. Even Diddy's lawyer started twitching. Cameras weren't allowed, but word is Diddy's face looked like someone told him Bad Boy was being rebranded as Truthful Man. And sis didn't come to play. She came with timelines, audio recordings, courtroom-approved transcripts, and an attitude like, now run me back my reputation and my coins. And guess who she name-dropped under oath? Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Bishop T.D. Jakes. Sean, don't call me Puff unless you want to get subpoenaed, Combs. You're telling me Monique just walked into federal court and connected the dots like she was on the finale of Scandal? And the kid she's been trying to tell us, and folks called her bitter. Now she's got the courtroom shook and the rest of us like, wait, was she right this whole time? Oh baby, this is not just a testimony. It's a full-on exorcism of Hollywood's messiest secrets. And we're breaking down every explosive moment, every shady alliance, and every oh no they didn't twist in the saga that might just bring the whole House of Fame cards down. Buckle up, besties. The receipts are hot, the silence is broken, and someone's gonna need a very strong PR team after this. Okay, before we start flipping tables, let's rewind the reality TV of it all and talk about how this royal mess even began. Because honey, Monique didn't just wake up one day and decide to drop a nuke on the Hollywood elite. This slow-cooked scandal's been simmering for over a decade, and the industry just kept pretending it wasn't burning. So let's start with the basics. Monique, comedian, Oscar winner, national treasure with zero tolerance for Hollywood BS. She won Best Supporting Actress for Precious in 2010. Gave us that gut-wrenching performance, snatched awards, and then poof, ghosted by Hollywood like she'd committed some unspoken crime. And what was her crime, you ask? Apparently, wanting to be paid for her time and not working for free on promo tours. Scandalous, right? Enter Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels, aka the Holy Trinity of Black Hollywood at the time. According to Monique, these three didn't just disagree with her behind closed doors, they blackballed her, branded her difficult, slapped that scarlet letter on her and let it spread through the casting calls like a virus. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Monique didn't go quietly. She called them out publicly, on podcasts, interviews, stages, years before anyone else dared to say their names without a press release. And what did she get? Rolled eyes, industry shade, and headlines like, Monique has another outburst. But baby, turns out she was keeping receipts. Fast forward to the current day. Sean Diddy Combs is on trial, facing allegations that make a Lifetime original movie look tame. And guess who steps into the courtroom with a voice like thunder and the calm of a woman who's been waiting to tell her side? Yep, Monique. And the moment she sits down, the trial isn't just about Diddy anymore. It becomes a reckoning, not just for him, but for the entire machine that allowed him to operate unchecked. And you guessed it, Tyler and Oprah, allegedly part of the system that protected the empire. But wait, this wasn't just petty revenge. Monique walked in with timelines, transcripts, and even a recorded call where Tyler Perry reportedly says, "You weren't difficult, you just didn't want to work for free." Let me repeat that for the folks in the back. The man admitted she was right, but then also said he couldn't go public because blowback on, wait for it, Puff. Yes, that Puff. As in Diddy, as in, we've all seen things at parties that we're not supposed to talk about. And suddenly, he's been saying for over a decade, not bitter, not delusional, dramatic, and finally with a mic loud enough for the world to hear it. This is where it all started to unravel. The Hollywood handshake deals, the NDAs, the stay-in-your-lane silencing tactics, all coming undone in real time. And if Monique is to be believed, and she's got the receipts, this isn't just one man on trial. This is an entire culture of silence that's finally being dragged into the light. All right, bestie, this is where the vibe shifts from maybe it's just drama to somebody call Olivia Pope, we need crisis management ASAP. So it's day 6 of the Diddy trial. Tension thicker than a Tyler Perry plot twist. Reporters swarming, lawyers sweating, and then boom, Monique walks in. Uninvited, unbothered, unstoppable. She enters through a side door, quiet but confident, like she knows exactly how many wigs she's about to snatch. The room goes dead silent. Diddy glances at his lawyer like, who authorized this boss-level plot twist? Meanwhile, prosecutors start flipping through papers like it's the final round of Family Feud. Then she takes the stand, and let me tell you, the air changed. Her first words, I was asked here to speak the truth, and that's what I intend to do. It's on. She pulls out a timeline, not some handwritten notes, mind you, but a fully documented, color-coded saga of betrayal, silence, and shady backroom deals. First shot fired, Tyler Perry. She tells the court that in 2018, he admitted she was blackballed unfairly. He said he'd apologize publicly. Spoiler alert, he didn't. Why? According to Monique, Perry said if he went public, it would blow back on people who weren't ready to be exposed. Who was at the top of that not ready list? Puff. That's who he was worried about. Yep. Puff Daddy, Diddy, Mr. Ciroc himself. The courtroom gasped. Prosecutors looked at each other like, is this real life? Perry told her there were too many people tied to too many NDAs, and he couldn't risk being connected to what they'd all seen at these parties. And then she reads a transcript from a phone call with Perry where he says, we've all seen things at Puff's parties we're not supposed to talk about. I'm sorry, what? We're not even halfway through the tea and I need a mop. She's not done. She says she went to one of those parties in 2006, invited by a friend. Valet took her phone. And playing softly, people getting escorted into back rooms, a man in a bathrobe, a woman in heels. It's all about experience, someone whispered. Then came the NDA, and Monique said nope. She walked out, never looked back, but Hollywood noticed. Suddenly, no calls, no big roles. Her name quietly dragged. She was told she was being difficult, but deep down, she knew. She'd seen something, and that made her dangerous. Then she drops another bomb. Tyler Perry donated $1 million to Bishop T.D. Jakes' church right when rumors about Diddy were starting to surface online. Everyone said it was a blessing. Monique? She called it a transaction. That church is a shield, she said. People like Diddy use it to create alliances that make them look untouchable. The courtroom didn't breathe. Not even the judge blinked. Then she shows photos. Weeks after that donation, Perry and Diddy at a BET event, arms around each other, smiling like nothing was on fire. It wasn't just about friendship, it was brand protection at the highest level. And then came the quote that broke the court. I wasn't blackballed, I was whiteballed by black people. Gasp, mic, drop, floor, gone. She says it wasn't outsiders that silenced, it was her own community. People more afraid of losing their seats at the table than standing up when the menu started looking illegal. By this point, Diddy is trembling. His lawyer looks like they aged 10 years. Jury, glued. Every single person is thinking the same thing. What else has she been holding on to? This is just part 1 and we're already neck deep in confessions, culty parties, and high-profile hypocrisy. So, after Monique lit the courtroom on fire with her testimony and casually named names like she was rolling credits on Surviving Hollywood, the fallout was instant. Twitter, a war zone, Reddit, exploding. Group chats, screaming in caps. Let's start with Diddy's team, because their response looked like someone spilled water on their hard drive. His attorney objected faster than Kris Jenner flipping a scandal into a Hulu storyline, but it was too late. The jury heard it. The courtroom felt it. And social media already had Monique's quotes in Helvetica on black backgrounds. Meanwhile, Diddy, usually unbothered in his charcoal suits and smug head tilts, was reportedly trembling. Not, oops, I got caught, trembling. More like, the empire is crumbling and I can't find the off switch, trembling. But it didn't stop there, because Monique kept swinging. She handed over a transcript of a private call with Tyler Perry, one where he allegedly says, "You weren't difficult, you just didn't want to work for free." And, "If Puff goes down, a lot of people go with him." Hello? This isn't just drama, this is structural integrity collapse. Tyler Perry, Mr. Medea, allegedly protecting Puff because too many money men are involved, producers, financiers, studio heads, everyone trying to keep their checks unbounced and secrets buried, and then, curveball alert, she brings up Oprah. Not lightly, not oh by the way. Nope. Monique said, "In 2010 I told Oprah something personal, that I'd been abused as a child. She said she'd never exploit that. Then she brought my abuser on her show, right after I turned down the Precious press tour. That's not just betrayal. That's the kind of emotional gut punch that has the courtroom holding its collective breath like they're on trial." Monique says Oprah told her it was just business, but she saw the truth. They were trying to shut me up. Oprah, Perry, Diddy. According to Monique, they've all got shared PR crisis teams and the same fixers. She even received an accidentally forwarded email chain where her name, Puff's, and Tyler's were all in the subject line. The topic? Managing optics. Translation, shut her up before she wrecks the brand. She hands over a redacted copy to the judge, and courtroom buzz hits Real Housewives reunion levels. At this point, jurors aren't even looking at Diddy anymore. They're glancing at each other like, wait, is everybody in on this? Then came the list trademark. No, not some Google Doc. Monique calls it the invisible list. The names in Hollywood you don't speak against unless you want to be labeled crazy, difficult, or just mysteriously unavailable for projects. Tyler's on the list. Oprah practically created it. Puff, permanent VIP, and once you cross them, you're done. One missed phone call, and suddenly, your career's in a medically induced coma. She starts naming names of other actors who vanished after one hit. The pattern? They said no. They saw too much. They stepped out of line. Suddenly, this isn't just about parties with candles and NDAs. It's about a full system of control, wrapped in velvet, coated in power, and protected by silence. The public split. Some folks are like, Monique's finally getting justice. Others, clutching pearls, tweeting, not Oprah too. And celebs, mostly quiet, which, let's be honest, says a lot. When Hollywood's loudest go radio silent, that silence speaks volumes. And it screams, lawyers are involved. But you know who's not quiet? The internet. TikTok sleuths are digging through old interviews like it's CSI Red Carpet Edition. Someone dug up a 2010 red carpet clip where a reporter asked Monique about Oprah, and she gives the fakest smile in the history of, I'm smiling but I hate you. The signs were there. Then Cassie's name pops up again. Remember, her testimony painted similar scenes. Candles, cameras, networking events that were anything but. Now, thanks to Monique, emails from Diddy's media company and Tyler's studio discussing both women by name are submitted in court. Suddenly, we have a paper trail, and not just a trail, a whole map. So, after Monique walked into court like a one-woman wrecking ball and flipped the industry's fake little tea table, the real question now is, who's left standing? Because it sure as hell isn't business as usual. Let's start with Diddy, who came into this trial trying to serve billionaire mogul vibes, and is now looking like the final boss in a game called Secrets Never Stay Buried. His defense team is scrambling. His lawyers are sweating. And his legacy, let's just say the word untouchable, aged like milk. Diddy's empire was built on mystery, cool, and control. But now, we're getting transcripts, testimonies, and receipts that paint a whole new picture. It's giving, private parties, forced NDAs, and alleged experiences that sound more culty than classy. And after Monique said she saw it for herself, walked out, and got blacklisted, people aren't laughing her off anymore. They're rewatching old interviews like, wait, was she telling us the truth this whole time? Now flip to Tyler Perry, the man with the golden studios, gospel vibes, and Medea's moral compass. But baby, Monique brought the heat. Alleged phone calls? Check. Verbal apology? Check. Refusal to go public because Puff's involved? Triple check. Tyler's brand is all about redemption, faith, and empowerment. But suddenly the receipts say he was protecting power, not people. And if those PR firm emails are real, Pray It Away is gonna need a rewrite. Now let's talk about the one name that shocked even the shade immune, Oprah. Monique didn't just throw her under the bus. She reverse-engineered the bus, drove it herself, and honked for attention. She claimed Oprah exploited her trauma, aired her abuser on national TV, and then blamed it on business. It wasn't a feud, it was a takedown dressed as empowerment. And listen, Oprah is a media monolith, but even Oprah isn't above the backlash when people start rethinking what powerful Black excellence looks like behind the scenes. So, What's next? Hollywood's silence machine just got dragged into open court, and Monique handed us the blueprint. The elite used NDAs, PR damage control, and industry blacklists to shut people up. But Monique broke that silence, and now fans are paying attention. People are asking real questions. Who else vanished after one-hit role? Who else said no and got labeled difficult? How deep does this cover-up culture really go? Oh, and let's not ignore how many young actors, influencers, and assistants are now side-eyeing their NDAs, like they signed a deal with the devil and forgot to read the fine print. Reputation-wise, Monique is glowing, like a phoenix that rose from the blacklist with court-approved evidence and a mic no one can cut off. Meanwhile, Diddy, Tyler, and Oprah suddenly looking less like moguls and more like managers of a very messy secret club. And the public, not playing it safe anymore. We're living in the era of show us the receipts or shut up. So, let's recap the chaos, shall we? Monique, the woman they called bitter, difficult, washed, walked into court and delivered a masterclass in receipts, resilience, and revenge. She didn't just testify, she testified with transcripts, audio, email trails, and a whole decade's worth of pent-up I told y'all. Diddy, exposed. Tyler Perry, complicit. Oprah, no longer untouchable. What started as a trial about one man's alleged misconduct turned into a full-on expose of Hollywood's unspoken rules, shady alliances, and silence for sale contracts. And Monique? She burned the blueprint. She didn't just want her name clear, she wanted the whole table flipped. The message, you don't get to bury me and then act brand new when the truth claws its way out. Hollywood's image has always been glossy, but now we're seeing the grease behind the glamour. The NDAs, the fixer firms, the invisible blacklist that makes you disappear faster than a box office flop. And the best part? Monique didn't need a scandal. She didn't need a PR machine. She needed a mic and the truth. And baby, she had both. So where do we go from here? Well, Tyler might want to hold off on that next church donation. Oprah might need to clear her inbox, her conscience. And Diddy, he might want to get very comfortable in that courtroom seat because this isn't just about Monique anymore. It's about every voice that was silenced, every career that was cut short, and every person who was told, you're lucky to be here and so shut up. Welp, she didn't shut up, she stood up, and now the industry's shaking like a ring light during a tell-all. Like this video if you're still recovering, subscribe if you want every messy detail the moment it breaks, and comment below with your favorite jaw-dropping moment. Because bestie, we are never looking at red carpets the same again.